Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. We are here doing amazing things in the world of real estate investment. As you guys know, I always like to start off the live stream with what I dealt with that week. So without further ado, we'll talk about what I dealt with this week. What I dealt with this week was a call from housing saying, hey, we've gotten a call from one of your tenants. She says that she has a rat problem and that you're not doing anything about it. As you can imagine, on the inside, deep down, laughing, because obviously we would never have a problem like that and not take care of it. Secondly, we would never ignore a tenant on such an issue. And thirdly, what the hell? So we start having this conversation and it starts, with, well, she says you're not taking care of it and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, yeah. Well, I actually, I heard about it for the first time, literally 3 days ago. And I called one of the guys that we actually use to take care of pest issues. He takes care of rodent issues. We've used him once for that. Thankfully, out of our 137 units, it's not really a problem for us because we don't rent to pigs that don't clean up their trash. Where we live, trash is expensive. Trash is about $3 per garbage bag. However, they have an extremely progressive, in a positive way, recycling system. So they'll take everything, all paper products, all cardboard products, all plastic products. So if you are creating that much trash, more than a bag a week, it's because you're not trying to recycle. You don't really care about the planet, but you don't really care about really anything, the landfills or anything else. You're just lazy. And so you like to just fill up garbage bags as opposed to just taking the 3 seconds that it takes to have 2 bins where you put the paper and the plastic. Not difficult, not a high bar of entry. And quite frankly, if you're on a housing voucher, you'll likely have a lot more time than the rest of us. That's just a fact. So when we look at this situation, it's a little bit more than a little bit infuriating because, again, after 3 days, she's expecting a problem that she created to be solved. So what the housing agency did was they said, just so you know, we're sending out an emergency inspection. I said, that's fine, go for it. So they send out an emergency inspection and literally the tenant says, I'm not ready for that inspection today. And they said, how come? She's like, well, I have some trash I have to pick up. Oh, interesting, isn't it? Why didn't housing start off with that? Thank God that they were at least honest. This is one of the good housing authorities. Now, I'm not coming down on the housing authority. They have to follow up, just like we have to follow up. That's our job as landlords. We're trying to curate an experience for folks, right? So they call me, we have that conversation. I was like, very interesting. She obviously didn't lay any claim to trash there, but I had made the call anyway because it's my property. I know for a fact, based on what I've heard from other landlords and seen from other landlords, rats can cause damage. So we go through this process and basically we get our guy out there. Their inspector goes first, my guy goes second. And my guy's like, hey, did you know that there's trash, a bunch of trash in a 3-season porch? I'm like, what do you mean there's a bunch of trash in a 3-season porch? He takes a picture and he sends it to me. And I am absolutely mortified. You will see a picture. I will post it on Instagram. You can check me out, Lumberjack Landlord on Instagram. But I will actually post that picture so you guys can see exactly the picture that he took that he was talking about. Number one, the unmitigated gall of this tenant, this asshole, sending and calling housing on the landlord when she's got bag after bag after bag of trash sitting on a 3-season porch. For those of you who don't know, rats really have 2 things that they're really known for. The first thing is they can do a lot of damage because they are actually biologically built to chew things. Their teeth grow very, very fast. So they chew on things that basically gnaws their teeth down. That's literally what they do. So what is a rat's life? It's chewing through things, constantly chewing, and it's always looking for a food source. The second thing is they can get into pretty much anywhere because most houses are wood and they can chew through wood, no problem. Now, they can't chew through steel wool and they can't chew through, you want to make sure there's a bunch of things. We actually cover it in my course, all the things that you can do to basically not have a rat issue. We had one, it was also caused by a tenant that refused to throw out their trash. And obviously we moved to start to evict them. That was the point. So at the end of the day, everybody wants to be like, oh, landlords suck. They're horrible. Sorry, I can't do any better than that because I don't edit these videos. That's why you just get true blue me. But my inspector goes there, the guy who actually has experience with this, and he's like, yeah, Matt, this is not gonna clean up if she got to get rid of all this stuff. Once she gets rid of all this stuff, then I can treat, but I can't do it. It's a waste of time if I do it till then because they have a food source. So the two things to know, rats chew through everything and there's a food source. Also, if you have a rat problem, guess what? You have to use metal. You have to use metal trash cans, not these flimsy plastic ones. They can chew through those too. It's amazing. They're incredible little rodents. But that being said, we go through this entire process and guess what happens? I get the report from that inspector, the one from housing, sends it to the HCV specialist, who is awesome. She sends it to me and she's like, okay, so the unit failed. I said, yep, okay, sounds good. I look at the report. This jerk of an inspector didn't even cite the trash. They didn't cite the trash. They didn't cite that there was a 3-season porch full of garbage bags that were full of trash, food waste, you name it, full of trash, a perfect food source for a rat. And I'm the bad landlord. How about the idiot tenant? How about the person that doesn't have any common sense and the fact that they're too lazy to throw out their own trash? So I got the report from the rat inspector or the rodent pest control person. I got that and I'm sending them that form. I got that basically early Friday morning. I wanted to send it over, so I'm sending it over Monday and then I'm going to have a follow-up conversation. But with this housing authority, much like my buddy Dion talks about, they're not all created equal. He's exactly right. While I appreciate the staff at this housing authority, this inspector is a complete and total clown. Complete clown. Doesn't know what he's doing, is completely out of his depth. She's like, well, he's newer to us. I go, no, I can tell, but he's just got no experience. He doesn't know what he's doing. The fact that he can walk into a unit that claims rat infestation and not inspect every single room and look to find that there's actually that problem, he should be fired. Fired! They should be fired. You're not doing your job if it's just a tattletale thing on the landlord. We are in partnership to deliver housing at an affordable cost to your tenants that are on assistance. I am happy to be a part of the solution. I am happy to take less than market rent, typically 10 to 20% less than market, to rent out this unit. But there's two things that I expect. I expect the payment to be on time, which obviously it is. And the second thing that I expect is that the tenant have respect for themselves and for the apartment. Period. End of story. And if you're keeping trash and hoarding trash and not throwing out trash, you are part of the problem. And in my eyes, you lose your right to rent from me. So when it's all said and done, I will be pursuing this. I will continue to pursue this with the housing authority. This is not the last thing that you will hear from me, especially about this inspector who is completely out of his depth and inept. And I've offered on a number of occasions to have a conversation with him and say, I'd like to talk to you about your reports. They're not good enough if you want me to continue with this program. This has to cut both ways. You want affordable housing you want housing, good quality housing at a discount. If you want that, then you have to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. The landlord here is not the problem. The tenant and their behavior is the problem. So I will say this, I am very honest about all parts of my portfolio. A few years ago, in the interest of diversification and the fact that we helped a number of people that were in a tough spot, and we consistently got burned by those people that were in those tough spots, big surprise. We wanted to go with a more traditional route and start going with Section 8 and saying housing actually has a program. They will hold people to a level of standard. And because of that, because it should be less to manage, less turnover, all the things that we look for, we want to be a part of the solution and provide affordable housing. And so far, it has been okay. But I will tell you, based on my statistics, I am 400% more likely to get a text from a housing tenant about an issue than I am about a retail or a market tenant. They go into the same units. The issue is the market tenant often uses it as a place to sleep, maybe rest on Saturdays and Sundays. They're not home 24/7, 7 days a week, where a lot of housing tenants are. Some aren't, but a majority that I see are. So it's one of those things that I would tell you when it comes to housing, we want to give everybody a fair shot. At the end of the day, you can get in by meeting the criteria, but in order to be able to stay, you have to follow the rules. You have to do like the rest of society has to do, which is do your part. And at the end of the day, if you can't, then I'm not going to rent to you anymore. And it's just that simple. And housing, if you want to make sure that you don't keep on losing units to other landlords that are buying these assets and then evicting wholesale all of these tenants, then the best thing to do is make sure that, that it's an easier process for the landlords, that it's something that they can get behind and they don't have to worry that they're going to have to spend thousands of dollars cleaning this up because, in case you hadn't guessed it, bet your ass this tenant's getting that bill because she caused the issue with her trash. There's nothing I did as a landlord that caused this issue. I can't guarantee that nothing will ever happen to the house. However, it is absolutely on her because she caused the issue and she will be getting the bill. So I look forward to giving you guys updates about this regularly. I think that the lion's share of tenants are absolutely fantastic. We had almost a 90% renewal rate this year on 137 units. And there's a reason that we did. People like renting from us. We do a good job as landlords and we have fairly priced units. But we do that in the interest of not having headache tenants. And not every tenant is a headache, just like not every landlord is a bad landlord. So hopefully that's helpful to you. As I always say, make sure you click like as well as subscribe. And now we'll jump into